Hello viewers, this is the brand new Ford Ranger, and why don't we check out one of the best selling vehicles in this country.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the new Ford Ranger, and it is bigger and better than before, in my opinion. Not only have they changed the front end, they've lengthened the car. It's slightly taller, slightly wider, and has a much bigger grille. The car itself has developed a lot and become a lot more American looking rather than the European previous generation, and has progressed a lot in size. And as they say in America, bigger is better, and in my opinion I agree with that sentence. This to me seems like a very American based car, almost like a baby F-150, which in many ways is a good thing as compared to its rivals. It is now larger and more capable off-road, which makes it more appealing to the general market in South Africa, as now it is more capable not only on-road but off-road. When you want to go outdoors, when you want to go to the Kruger, when you want to go on an adventurous day with the family, which makes this car a lot better than many competitors in its class.
One of the main complaints of the previous generation's Ranger was the fact that storage wasn't actually very good. So, more American also means a lot more storage and a lot more access to the storage. You have this footwell over here, which means you can get up and on top so that you can reach for whatever is inside the bed, and there's actually a lot of storage inside. So you can see here you got this handle up here, and if I pull it down, you've got one UG.
Wow, it's so bright in here, people. But as you can see, you can literally lie down if I wanted to. I can sleep nicely, although it is burning me. But in the back here, you have your sockets here for plugging whatever you need. You have your 20-volt socket here, and you have your your 230 volt socket, sorry, for charging like your microwave and your laptops, for tailgating if you're going into the Kruger National Park, or in general just traveling. So this is a very spacious area. You can fit a lot in here. Coming from the older Ranger, nothing much has changed. I mean, after all, it is a bakkie, or in some other markets a pickup truck, but other than that, it's relatively the same. I'm comfortable back here. It's a very hard bed, since after all this is a commercial vehicle most of the time, and you don't really need like leather or Alcantara or some other soft material to like mess around with. So actually right now, let's check out the inside. So on the interior of this car, it is a Ford after all, so you do get a lot of Ford switchgear, so such as your window controls right there and your door locks, and I'm pretty sure those are the same door locks in a Ford Focus or a Ford Fiesta. But moving into the gauge cluster, it has really moved on from the previous generation, because for a very long time, since it is a bakkie after all, and everything has to be agricultural, it was an analog gauge cluster, but now it has turned fully into a fully digital gauge cluster. And then moving on to your steering wheel, you have your cruise control right there. Since now almost all cars have intelligent cruise control, this one also does. So like, it keeps you from the car in front, and it accelerates and decelerates if it needs to. Then those are all like your volume controls, and then your on call. Then if you look all the way here is the new Ford Sync system, Sync 4, and it has turned into a vertical infotainment system other than the previous generation, because a lot of new cars these days, especially Teslas, have moved towards more an angular 90-degree infotainment system for easier reach, and a lot of the functions of the car are in this infotainment system right here. And thank God, if you look down here, we have physical buttons for the AC, which to this day I just thank Ford for, and most manufacturers should still do, because fiddling around in the infotainment system while you're driving is not exactly a clever idea, because your eyes need to be on the road at all times. So I just thank Ford for leaving the climate controls and the volume button, because a lot of new cars nowadays have volume buttons installed inside the infotainment system. So I just thank Ford again for this. So if you look down here, you have your
gear lever over here. You also have some cup holders. You've got your drive mode gauges over here. You've got your parking brake, some more drive modes. And if I open this little armrest compartment here, that's an entire bag that you can fill. It's one of those bags that you can fit across your body. This is actually larger than the average size bag. Those are quite small. This can fit a small handbag, or any goods that you want. It is an American car. This is designed to be like any American car, which means most compartment spaces need to be able to fit a Big Mac. Speaking of which, there's another hidden compartment space that Mateo will show you right now.
Not only has this Ford advanced technically, but also with storage and extra compartment space. Yeah, having at the top of the car on the dashboard where you can install at least 3, 4, 5 phones, your wallets, whatever you need inside of there for safety. You also have this on standby type of display with quite a nice rubbery, soft rubber touch, but also you can fit your phone in there and keep it there without it coming out while driving. It gets a easy accessible cup holder here, other than the two you have to your right. And plus, you then still have your open, big displayed glove box where you can fill in any paperwork, any licensing, registration, insurance, or any other minuscule problems that you might have or paperwork that you might need. The car then also has much space on the side where you can fit in cups or little baggages with a very accessible, easy door handle that actually comes with the arm holder and armrest, so making it very easy to actually open the door without moving your arm to another place and rather just opening the door from standby. It comes with quite nice soft touch leather or fake leather, as it is not actual leather, but it's a nice touch to the car to make it seem more quality and make it more upmarket, with very soft touch on the dash, on the doors, and a bit of plasticky extras around here. The car does also come with a Bang & Olufsen sound system, and these come with 8 speakers around. And knowing Bang & Olufsen, it's probably the best speaking system you can buy in the market. And this car, Wildtrak specifically, coming with that stock or optioned, is actually a very good option to have, not only with the extra practicality and space and the extra technological advancements that it has made.
So let's actually move back to here. This is a very step on from the previous generation, because as you can see, you have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You don't really need, well, most of the cars these days, you don't really need a physical owner's manual. A lot of the times it's put into the infotainment system. Then you have your media for like Bluetooth navigation, phone. We actually pull onto media. It is actually very responsive. I'm not gonna lie here. It would keep up with most systems of today, especially something like maybe a Hilux or even a VW Amarok. But I'm pretty sure this just looks a lot better. It's a lot more smoother, a lot more cleaner. And if you just go back to radio and we just move back, see, a lot of the functions are in the infotainment system, as I was saying. So this is your radio right here. You can connect your phone. Yeah, it really is a lot of functions that you have in this infotainment system. So why don't we actually just move into the back seat to see how practical it is.
Now, a common complaint that a lot of people would have going from an SUV to a bakkie is the fact that when you get a double cab, the back seats are quite small, and while the door is quite large, the backseat seating area is quite small. I actually kind of bumped my head off the top of here. So if you are taller than, like, I don't know, 5'4", you don't actually need the footrests over here, the ladder. You can actually just step in normally like a normal car. Other thing, the door handles. Mateo spoke on them earlier. They're terrible quality. These are the parts of the car that you're gonna touch the most. You got leather here, but then you have this rough, cheap, hard plastic that I know someone in Detroit was just like, yeah, let's give them this plastic because it's gonna break anyway. Also, your fingers kind of slip off if you don't apply enough pressure or put your entire hand through it. You also have this little area over here. I don't understand what this is for, but yeah, don't really understand what this is for. That doesn't really need to be there. Actually getting into the back compartment then, it's quite comfortable. I'm not gonna lie, it's very comfortable. You expect it to be this comfortable, especially since this is a 1 million rand plus car. So sitting in the back, it's quite easy to sit in the back. This chair is adjusted to Mateo's seating position though, and that is quite concerning. I am decently, well, respectably short. I'm about 5'8". In most countries I'm average height, but if you are slightly taller than that, or even a much taller, you are going to have some problem with knee room in the back. Headroom, perfectly fine. Again, it's an American car, you can be quite tall, but knee room is going to be an issue. In terms of the back space entirely, it's pretty good for if you're gonna have kids in here or like normal heighted adults. You also have, I'm gonna shift over, some charging ports. You've got a USB-C, USB charging port, and then you have what, if I'm not mistaken, a UK house socket. I don't know why this isn't adjusted per market, but it is useful to have. I do know that other cars that do have this, like the Range Rover, the Toyota Hilux, all the other cars, they do normally have UK house sockets. But this is a car that is built and, well, manufactured locally in South Africa. So I don't really know why they haven't adjusted it to the local market. But another bit of comfort that you should be able to have, this should be a normal middle armrest for the backseat passengers, but it's not. Instead, what it does is it moves the whole thing back.
Okay guys, we found a model now. The model that we were previously looking at had a malfunction in here where this was stuck, and they're going to get the workshop to open it up. So just to show you, you have to pull down physically and get it open, and it comes with a nice soft touch here with the 2 cup holders as well. And yeah, to open it, you really just have to pull downwards and keep it down, and it'll unclip from the top here. And now to pull the back seat open, you actually pull from the top lever over here, and this lever itself will pull the seats down. You can get extra storage behind the car, behind the seats here, to add anything if you're not using the back seats on a longer trip, if it's just you and your significant other or you and a friend and you're going on a longer trip. But yeah, this has been a bit of a hassle in the other car, and we thought maybe there was just a problem, but yes, it was just a problem in that car. And generally these Fords aren't too bad, and as you can see, it's still a weird lever to pull down with, and it's not the best lever that they could have used, and I would have preferred something slightly easier to access, as the accessibility in this isn't the greatest.
Here we are in the front again. So as you can see, the DRLs are on, and these are, in my opinion, a better looking size and fitment for this type of car, because after all, the old one was really an old car. Let's just say that, people. I'm trying not to use very bad words because I know there are a lot of you that will hunt me down. But let's actually move into the engine. So this engine is a 3-liter twin turbo V6 diesel producing about 184 kilowatts, which is right around 270 horsepower to like 280 horsepower. But that doesn't matter in a car like this. In this car, the torque matters a lot. So this car produces around 600 Newton meters of torque. It has a lot of low range torque for off-roading. So for those of you who enjoy going off the pavement and going up mountains, this can just pull and pull and pull all day. So what I can conclude about this new Ford Ranger is, it is really a step up from the previous generation, just because of how it looks and all the old technology that was in the previous generation. But in comparison to like the Toyota Hilux and the VW Amarok, it really is your preference. If you want to be flashy and you want to show off all that German power, why not just try out the Amarok? But if you want reliability and longevity, probably the Toyota would be the better option. But since this is Ford, and Ford lasts a long time as well, I would honestly highly recommend this. Apart from the minimal storage compartments that is in this car, it is a tiny bit smaller than the Hilux inside, but I bet you to believe that the quality is a lot more better than Toyota. And since we all know Toyota, it is really cheap reliability. Subscribe and like, and also leave a comment of which one would you choose. Would you choose the Ranger, the Amarok, or the Hilux? See you next time.